me know if you can hear me and if you can see the picture. And we are going to start in less than a minute. So let me just try. Hello, James. Thank you very much. So, hello, John. Hello, everyone. So I'll restart the gimbal. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see the picture. And then I will introduce myself. I will tell you about the tour and we will start. Just a second. I will clean the lens and we are going to start the tour. Thank you very much. So, in the beginning, I want to say, so right at the beginning of the tour, I want to say that it's raining and I don't have an umbrella. It's a pity. I've checked the forecast. I mean, it didn't supposed to rain. Unfortunately, it's raining and it's not noticeable on now on the screen, but it's like a small rain. I guess like you can see it now. So it can destroy my camera. It can destroy my gimbal. So we'll just walk around the market, kind of like trying to hide under some of the roofs. And then hopefully the rain will be over. So I will show you around the park because there are many beautiful things to take a look at. If it won't stop, then unfortunately I will just have to cut out the tour for today. I decided not to cancel, just to do my best, maybe just show you some parts of the market and everything. So I hope you're okay with it. So apologies for the weather conditions, it happens. So that's actually the scene. Now people use it as a place to take pictures. So let me... Yeah, that's the place where people take pictures. I actually want to hide with my camera. Nobody will let me do it. Okay, let me introduce myself and let me tell you about the tour. Hello everyone, my name is Tanya. I'm a professional tour guide from Moscow. I've been working as a tour guide for nearly 7 years and I do all types of tours. I show the highlights of the city, the most beautiful places. I show hidden gems, and on my tours I talk about Russian history, Russian culture, Russian design and more. So I'm a little bit frustrated because I came here and it's raining. I don't have an umbrella because it wasn't supposed to rain. So I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure whether I should do this tour or not. As some of you know, the gimbal that makes the picture stable costs quite a lot. Now one of the tour guides is helping another one just to raise money for the gimbal. Sure, I mean, I'm just trying to save my gimbal because it will be destroyed. Okay, so here it goes. Yeah, so it's just I don't want to destroy my gimbal. I just want to destroy my phone, so I'll just do my best as long as I can in this beautiful market. Hopefully it will stop raining and then I will show you the park, but if not, then apologies for it. I hope the park is also lovely. Unfortunately, they also don't have any roof, so it's just kind of like me walking from one place to another. So thank you very much for understanding. Thank you, everyone. Well, let's do as much as I can, and then let's hope for the best. Thank you very much for joining me today. So the plan of the tour is to show you Gorky Park, one of the biggest parks in the world and also the biggest park in Moscow. Moreover, it's the main park, also the oldest park, and this park became the symbol of Soviet era, and then later on this park became the symbol of new era. There's a lot of things to show, including its entrance where you have like triumphal arch. That's what you can see on the cover of the tour. I've done this tour only a couple of times and it's very different. In summer, in winter, the atmosphere is always lovely. And yeah, there are many special events happening in the park. Now we have this small market. It's similar to other markets that we have in the city center that I've showed you. My colleague has showed you, I believe. But what makes this place special is that it's not a very touristy sport. I mean, for tourists from other places, compared to Red Square. So here you can find many locals. It's not as crowded as Red Square area. So let's just walk around, talk about the park, talk about this area, and again, hopefully it will stop raining soon, and I will be able to show you things that I planned. So I'll just start with the name of the festival. It's called Journey to Christmas, and they organize festivals around the city center. Actually, the festivals were started only a week ago. Why? Because for us, Christmas, Orthodox Christmas in Russia is on the 7th of January. And that is why, I mean, it's been only started, and most of the markets, most of the festivals, most of the activities will be till the 8th of January. That's the last day of national holidays. So we have national holidays for like 8 days. It depends on the time, like it depends on the year. Sometimes we have for like up to 10 days, 11 days. Let's try to have some beautiful postcards today. Just a portrait mode. Hope it looks fine. So some of you can take a postcard. I believe many of you have seen many beautiful markets during this time of the year on Heygo. I mean, Christmas markets were not big in Russia when I was a kid. Actually, they appeared around 8 years ago. So now it's more like New Year and Christmas markets, and most of the markets organized by the Department of Moscow, and it's written over there, Moscow. Actually, you cannot access this website. It's blocked in other countries for some reason. So, but it's still organized by the Department of Moscow, and they have these kind of markets in the city center and also in some other areas. There's a special program that you have during the celebrations. So that is supposed to be a stage. Now it's just like a beautifully decorated place where everyone takes pictures. I'm really scared to leave this place to destroy my gadgets, but I think it looks very lovely. And yeah, it's impossible to take a picture, even though we don't have many people in this area. Still, everyone keeps coming to take a picture. Maybe I'll do one for you with my face, maybe at some point. So let's just walk around to see what we have. Again, I didn't even plan to show you this market, so maybe it's for the best, and I'll do another tour in Gorky Park just to show you more of the park or the area. It has a beautiful ice rink, huge ice rink, one of the biggest ones. So as some other Christmas markets, of course, we have food. And here, I mean, as other Christmas markets in Europe, we would have mulled wine or glue wine, but then they also have some Russian specialties. And let's just walk around to see what kind of pastries we have in here, because they're actually different from the city center. I've done several tours around Red Square. So here we have pancakes or crepes, oblini, that's the way they said in Russian. 300 rubles, well, it is approximately $5, sweet, savory, different types. And I like pierogi. They have also, this is just a slice. It would be the same price as pancakes and soups. On my previous tours this year, or actually previous year, we were talking about Russian winters, how to survive. Oh yeah, as you can see, it's raining. It's not that bad, but again, I'm more concerned about the gimbal. So yeah, Siri is asking me why is the most popular filling in the What is the most popular? It depends. I would say, like, if you want to try Russian style, go for caviar, like with the caviar, because caviar is really big. And I prepared some pictures for you just to show you New Year table, Russian New Year table, typical New Year table. And you can see turkey on the picture, but then you also have some sandwiches with the caviar. So caviar is really big. This is also certainly a Russian specialty. We have red caviar and black caviar. I believe you've heard about both of them, but a red caviar is more like for special occasions. So like New Year, Christmas, your birthday party, and then some other celebrations and holidays. Black caviar. I mean, normally people would try it once or twice in their life, unless they're like oligarchs, super rich, or tour guides, or they would live in an area where they would get blini iPod, be like blinches. Well, again, with blini in Russian, it's the word blini. They're thin. So we have several types of pancakes. They're also thick pancakes. They're called oladyi. And blini are big in our tradition because there is even a pagan holiday called Maslenitsa. It's something like Mardi Gras in France. Let me try to go inside. Let's hope I can do it. Because here they have some activities and festivals. А здесь какая-то информация о фестивале проходит или что здесь у вас? Вы на меня так странно смотрите. Здесь что вот в этой комнате проходит вообще? Подарки какие-то? Что? То есть я могу здесь тоже записать обращение каким-то близким, родным? I think the gentleman is a little bit scared because of me having a camera. So, but like I've just asked a couple of times, what is this room for? And I'm really excited that, I can just hide in here with my camera, and it's also beautifully decorated. So the point is that you can go there and you can just record yourselves, basically like send a message to your friends and family, like congratulate them, New Year message. So let's go outside. It happens that people are not really happy to see someone. I meant to say blini would be blinches. Well, in some other countries, yes. I mean, it really depends. Normally, I mean, in English, in Russia, it's translated as pancakes. All their pancakes are like thick. And I think, I mean, the correct way to say is crepes. That's also what I found in some of the restaurants, in some translations. But yeah, it really depends. Well, in some other countries, like they would have blini that would be different from our blini. Like in France, they have small pancakes. So I'm showing you another Christmas tree. So in this market, we have several Christmas trees. Does the sign read "Progress the Motherland"? No, and I'm not sure which sign. But well, where was it? If you took a postcard, you can share it with me. So I'm showing you another Christmas tree, and this one is called Kind Tree. So this is a charity tree, and this tree was made to support NGO organizations. And what you can do, you just choose one bowl that you like. They have QR codes like this one. So you can go to the website and then you can support the organization. Just you fill the form and then you can support the organization, which is a very nice and lovely idea to do, like for New Year. And as it happens, like with the Russian traditions, with Russian Christmas trees, we have ballerinas. It seems like it stopped raining. I'll just do my best to show you as much as I can in this park. Hello, Joyce. Hello. The lush red background. Again, I'm sorry, Michael, I don't see now any lush red background. I mean, generally, it's written Journey to Christmas, Путешествие в Рождество, the lush red background. That's the way it is. It's the name of the festival. I've already mentioned it. So let's go to the main entrance of the park, but certainly not progress in the in the motherland. There was nothing like that. I mean, basically everything around here is about Christmas, holidays, celebrations. Look at these beautiful decorations. I think it's one of the most elegant Christmas markets in Moscow. Sure, I mean, next time you just can take a change it. Oh, look at that. They're shouting Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Um, let's walk around the park. I'm actually happy that it stopped raining, so I can show you more. Maybe if we have time, I will come back to the market. Once I had a tour in this park, and that was an interesting excursion. Like basically, they were just like running and dancing. It's not very busy. Yeah, I mean, it's a pity because, well, there's a number of reasons. Well, first of all, we don't have many tourists this year, but then also because more people tend to spend their time either at home, you know, when it's cold, or also in the city area. It's kind of like more obvious. So good evening, everyone. Happy to see you. And I'm actually happy that it kind of stopped raining. So I will go to the main entrance to show you some of the most beautiful decorations. And finally, I'm going to tell you more about the park. Actually, these decorations I've seen last year. Some of you probably have seen it on one of my tours last year. The park hold a very interesting festival called Ice and Snow. So they had some beautiful ice and sculptures. Actually, this year they have a few in that market that we've seen. So maybe that will be also not. But this the festival is still happening this year in another park, which is like 10 minutes from here. And the festival was started yesterday, and I've already published a new tour because I'm not sure they will be able to have the festival for a month as it's planned because the weather is tricky this year. Nice to see just the decorations. Yeah, I mean, I'm going towards the main entrance. That's where we have some of the most beautiful decorations. And I want to show you some of the decorations that I had on the cover of the tour. And I mean, the decorations are all around. It's a huge park, 300 hectares. So obviously on any of my tours, I won't be able to show you all of it. That's just how big it is, seriously. And there are just so many beautiful details. There are so many beautiful and interesting activities. These days, it's more for young people. Now I'm heading towards an ice rink. I love it. It's one of the biggest ice rinks in Russia and also in Moscow. The biggest one is in Vedinha. Hopefully I will be able to show you. It's also another beautiful area, one of the highlights of the city, one of the most beautiful areas. But this one is also interesting, and moreover they have more activities for young people, including so-called music box. So that's the place where they invite young musicians to perform, and also to perform for the ones who skate. So I cannot get closer because of the fans. So basically there's Christmas trees for was who skate. I mean, you have to pay, obviously, it's not free. We used to have many free ice rinks when I was a kid. Now it's different. All the several categories of people are able, you know, to have either discounts or to skate for free. So now many actually come here for, you know, an ice rink, and it's also beautifully decorated. So talking about I hope I didn't miss any of your questions, Liz. Thank you very much for sharing the tour, Wendy. I'm glad that you enjoyed the tour. This year, by the way, the statues, the sculptures are different. So if last year it was more about fairy tales, it was more about Russian regions, this year it's more about the main attractions in the city. And, you know, I've tried to find the information about it, but it wasn't even enough time for journalists to cover it. So there were only just a few articles. So that's why right after the tour, I'll go there. So here is one of the interesting objects in the park. And before it was full of it. It was full because in Soviet times, sport, being athletic had a very big meaning. And back then, Gorky Park was a lot about enlightenment. So talking about the history of the park, it was opened in 1923. And in 1923, it was opened as the exhibition, agricultural exhibition, basically to show the achievements of the Soviet Union. And at that time, it had a very big meaning to show the achievements of the new country, the Soviet Union, to compare it with the area of Russian Empire with the Tsars. Look at the street. That's just, just another fun activity to see how things are happening. So welcome everyone. We are getting into one of the most beautiful areas in the park. And from there we will be able to take a look actually at the entrance of the park. So it's obviously different from the way it was in the summer. Because in the summer we have like yoga classes, dance classes. Now the activities are different. So it was opened in 1923 as the exhibition, but a few years later, and also in the 20s, it was opened as the number one park in the city. And it was more than just a park. It was basically the place for hobbies, for entertainment. And later on, the park becomes the mirror of Russia, the mirror of Moscow. Basically, everything that was happening that it went through. All of the activities that we had in this park, they clearly showed what was happening in Moscow, what was happening with the Russian culture. And that's why it is actually one of the biggest symbols. So in the beginning, you had to pay for the entrance. And even 2 years later, you still had to pay for the entrance. Nevertheless, the park stayed very, very popular among thousands and thousands of Russian people. And later on, this park became an example for other parks. So basically, we have over 100 parks, 120 parks in the city. Some of them are bigger than Gorky Park, but Gorky Park is the one that sets trends. So all the others look up and just try to learn from its experience. So very beautifully decorated. Now most of the area is kind of like taken by that huge ice rink. So what we have in there, it's written there, the ring of the park leisuring culture, and it's written there. And that's the first entrance. And we can see that ice rinks in general are pretty popular, pretty big in Russia. There is another one, and she's also quite busy. So let's just take a look from here. The architect of the park was Konstantin Melnikov. That's actually how the park looks like from the top. So now we're not able to see everything because it's partially covered by this ice rink. Again, it's charming, it's lovely, but it's just different. Konstantin Melnikov. Konstantin Melnikov is one of the most talented architects of the 20th century, and I'm going to send you one of his most famous works called Melnikov Tower. That was the place where he lived and where he worked. Exactly. Thank you very much, Wendy. That's just shows how amazing he was as an architect. And let's take a look at the main entrance. I'm glad that you compared it to Versailles, because the main entrance was certainly inspired by the Triumphal Arch. And it's not the only entrance that was inspired by the Triumphal Arch. We have some other entrances that look kind of like similar, have this same design. And some of them I also show on my tours, including the metro stations, like the entrances. And this is something that Brandenburg Gate, but everything comes from Triumphal Arch, the architecture, the design. So we'll take a look from the other side, and we will talk about its design, its architecture, why it was inspired by Triumphal Arch, and what is this big meaning in its design. So we'll also see some beautiful decorations. Now, I mean, the main decorations are in front of the park. So I hope you will enjoy it. The arch is from the 50s, 1955, and it's very important for our conversation about the design, the architecture. And even if it looks like European architecture, it's still Soviet design. So that's how we can see the hammer and sickle and then the red star at the top. Everywhere. This is just one of the biggest symbols. So, with the columns, actually inside the entrance, we have a museum and we have a souvenir shop. So I'm just going to show you the signs. Let's take a look. So now you can also compare it to something. Does it remind you of? James, thank you very much for your contribution. Highly appreciated. As all of you know, it's a tip supported tour, so that's how we are able to do tours, even under some bad conditions, bad weather conditions, whatever happens, even if we have small number of registrations. So thanks to your support, we can do more tours and we can invite more amazing tour guides. So let's take a look. There we have souvenir shop on the other side. You can see the sign. Maybe we will go out, inside after we will walk around and we will see the decorations, or actually even now. I hope it will be interesting for you. And on the other side, also inside the entrance, we have a museum. The museum is basically about the park. It's lovely. It's more. It's also written in English. That's here where you get. Oh, it's already closed. There's someone, but it's already closed. Well, it happens. Well, next time then. On the other side, there is a museum. The museum is lovely, but it's more for those who are interested in its history. All there at the top, there is a big observation deck. Very lovely, very beautiful. One of the best views in the city. Jennifer, thank you very much for your contribution. So let's walk around. There is a bowl that sometimes has colors of the Russian flag. And there is an imitation of Russian market. I mean, this year, I'll tell you first, this year it's the first year when some of the New Year decorations became political. So it is what it is. It just happens. Some people support it. Some find it quite confusing because this year has been a lot for many of us. But let's walk around and let's take a look at some beautiful decorations. And here we also have some lovely animals. So here is an owl, like could be a reference to Harry Potter, and this beautiful decorated Christmas tree. So here's the entrance from the other side, and I'll just walk around. Let's take a look at some other animals. And so speaking of the Triumphal Arch, why it was inspired by the imperial architecture. This style, called Stalin's imperial style, became popular after the World War II, and later on it becomes known as Stalin's imperial. So it wasn't known at that time. And the idea was to show the achievements of the Soviet Union, the greatness of the Soviet Union, to show the superiority of the Soviet Union over other countries. So that's the way it was. And also to show some antique traditions. So it was certainly inspired by previous architectural designs. So just go further to have a good view of the entrance. I wish the tour had the small map at the top left, but I know that with the situation now, yeah. So that's the way it is. But you can. You can easily find Gorky Park, and actually, it's also written in my tour description the meaning of the Gorky Park, and why is it the number one park. And it was mentioned in several movies. It was mentioned in several songs. The most famous one is Wind of Change by Scorpions. There's even a movie called Gorky Park. If it's about Russia, of course, it's about spies. Then it was mentioned in Red Sparrow, which is also another movie about spies. I mean, Gorky Park is not the main place for spies, but somehow it just ended up being the number one place for movies with spies. That is the movie from the 80s. If some of you have watched it, just please share your experience in the chat. The rating, I mean, is not high or low. It's kind of average 6.7. The park was also mentioned in the House of Cards. So Gorky Park had this special charm about it. Although, of course, in Soviet times, it looked completely different from what it is today. And let me just show you some other beautiful decorations in front of the park. That's also a lovely house. This is the first year when they have these kind of decorations. Every year it's different. Normally, Gorky Park would attract young people with, some music festivals or families with kids. So this year they will also have concerts with the young musicians. Yeah, the house is lovely. So I'll just also walk further to show you. And by the way, in this entrance, we also have lectures. So you can just get absolutely everything you want in this park. The interesting thing for me was whenever he wanted to talk to someone in private, he used to turn the telephone around. Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience. On the left side, we have some kind of like place that was used for selling tickets, and it's still written in Russian, kassy, so the ticket office. Now it's used for a restaurant. So this is just also one of the reminders that people had to pay for the entrance. That's why, I mean, you have this beautiful design. So much was put into the decoration. So much was put into the design. The park went through big changes in 2011. So basically 10 years ago. 10 years ago, a new company, the director Sergei Koptkov took over, and they decided to renovate it, to modernize it. And it was important, well, first for after Soviet times, and I'm sending you some of the pictures from previous years. It was just big, and in Soviet parks, I mean, all of the activities were kind of like chess, sculptures, sports. There would be still like lectures, but it wasn't that much of the fun in the meaning that we have today. Then later on in the 90s, it was basically abandoned, and they had some attractions that people wouldn't really visit. As for cafes and restaurants, it still wasn't that nice and lovely. It was more like doner kebab. So as a kid, I remember I wasn't really visiting Gorky Park. So let me just show you some of the signs. Well, you see, this is another big spot this year to take. I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty upset to see some of the signs that are the reference to, politics. So that's why I'm just walking around and I don't point at them. But this is the reality we live in. And I think it also interesting to see how the small details can also affect people. James, yeah, but that's just, but of course, I mean, since it's organized by the Department of Moscow, it's not a private organization, it's not a supermarket or anything. The good thing I can say, I mean, in these conditions, the good thing is that, supermarkets, stores are not forced to decorate in a certain way. So now they still have this freedom to do in the style that they want. So let's go back to 2011. Was very important because this place became some kind of like a hipster spot, meaning that many young people started coming to the park, started coming to this area. They had very nice cinema theater, open air cinema theater called Pioneer. And we don't have that many cinema theaters where you can watch independent movies and also movies in regional language. So Pioneer is one of the most popular ones. It's one of the biggest ones. And they had this spot in here in this park. Also Garage Museum. Garage Museum is the museum of modern art. So they also have a place in Gorky Park. Green Academy. So Gorky Park had this big trend of ecology, being eco-friendly. So yoga classes, dancing classes, and many, many other activities starting from, the social networks. It was very, very different from all of the other parks because mainly, I mean, parks were not the place for young people. And at first, in 2011, it was more like the place for people who would just know about new trends. Then later on, it became the place for everyone. So now you can find all types of people in there. So visiting either like classes or some other activities. What is the sculpture at the top of the gate? It is Lenin. So this is the kind of like coat of arms with Lenin, and Lenin was pretty much everywhere. Lenin has still the highest number. That is his face. I mean, it's not that clear now. I did my best. It's just because it's dark. I'm not sure you can see it clearly. Yeah? Was it this one you were asking? It starts raining again. Okay. So I hope those of you who wanted to take some beautiful postcards were able to do it. And I'll be happy to see some of you. I'll be happy if you could share it. This is not a market. This is more like the place just, for photo shoots for people. Order of Lenin. It is. Yeah, it is. So on the other side, we have Museum Park. I have a tour about Museum Park. That is a very lovely place with statues, including fallen statues, former statues of Stalin, Lenin, Dzerzhinsky. And now that's where we have the festival, Ice and Snow Festival. So after that, you see that it's already over there right in the beginning. So I've already published this festival, and that's where I will go after the tour. Yeah, very nice. So now I think I will go back to the Christmas market also to show you some beautiful statues. I think I will just go through the park. So about the science, I'll just say it this way. I mean, this is about the victory, the power is in the truth. It's very interesting how they use very different meanings. Like everything that was in this phrase that is actually from one of the most prominent movies from the 90s called The Brother, it had completely different meaning, but just because it's such a beloved movie, it became used in a completely different context. And also, I mean, here you can see many references to the World War II. So this is also, I will not talk about politics if you're interested. Again, there's a tour called From Tanya with Love where I mainly share my experience. But one of the biggest questions, why do Russians support? Because many believe that this is pretty much the same as the World War II for them. And that's what you can see in the science, how it's used in the design. This is the reference to the agricultural exhibition. And in general, the opulence of agriculture had a very big meaning in Soviet design, in Soviet, is as old as me. And you see, information center, maybe I wasn't strong enough. So let me just try it again to go inside a souvenir shop. Now you can just see that I'm very weak. That's where you can get tickets. Здравствуйте, я магазин сувениров. So I'll just go upstairs to show you some nice souvenirs. And I actually love this souvenir shop because it has some nice and creative souvenirs that you normally won't find in some other places. Talking about agriculture, Khrushchev, of course, Khrushchev, he was specifically the man of corn. But it's not only about Khrushchev, even before him. So let me just show you some nice beans. So these are less traditional souvenirs, and it was started with these places, these kind of places. And if you visit my tour yesterday, Spassky Tower. So this is the website, and this is a company from Russia and the Historical Museum. Because most of the souvenirs, they kind of look alike as in some other places, but this is something like young and creative. This man is Maxim Gorky, so the park is named after him. And here is the name of the park in Russian, the cup. Maxim Gorky. Gorky, it's actually is translated as bitter in Russian. His last name was Peshkov, and he was the main Soviet writer under Stalin's era. He was a man who supported the revolution. Just to show you how important he was for Stalin, how big he was, Stalin visited him 3 times when Maxim Gorky was dying. Hello, it's me. A little bit unhappy because of the rain, but still it's getting better. So here's one of the pictures from Gorky Park in 1935. It's right at the beginning. Completely different atmosphere. Some beautiful mugs that show Moscow. This is completely different Moscow, something that I never actually showed in my tours, like modern skyscrapers. And remember in the beginning of the tour, we've seen a Soviet statue. So that was the number 1 in this park. So this is more about like souvenirs that are related to the park, but still you can find some really nice and creative souvenirs that I'm actually happy about. Like this is very different from some other. And I think we can go back. More pins. This is our Winnie the Pooh, by the way. It is Russian. It's not the same. It's not the same as Nistny. Or James. I mean, I can say that it's always possible to find happiness. Just, and yeah, let's go back. I can imagine it was before the beginning of the Great Terror. Well, again, I have Museum Park. That's where I talk more about the Great Terror. But I think, I mean, if you really want to know the answer, in my opinion, everything is in psychology, and many specialists actually talked about how people were surviving. Oh, look at this statue. Many people how they were surviving, and there are some actually. Oh, now I cannot open the door. I really can't. Oh my God. I'm weak, officially weak. But during forest collectivization in Ukraine, no, it really depends on the conditions and the situations. But what I mean is sometimes people escape from it and they just kind of live in the other place. There are many psychological ways for people to escape, and it's not something that they would do on purpose. thought you were stuck there for it. Yeah, no, there were some people, so it was good. So going back, to Maxim Gorky, the park was named after him in 1932. So just shortly after the park was opened, and it's not only the park was named after Maxim Gorky, but also Moscow's main street, Gorky Street. And I have the tour about it. Actually, it's called Moscow's Main Street, but still, that just shows you how big Gorky was. He was nominated 5 times for the Nobel Prize. That again shows you how much the government appreciated him. Never took the award, but even though the street no longer named after Maxim Gorky, the park, the main park, it still is. And before we will go to the Christmas market where I will finish the tour, I think I'll just show you a statue to Maxim Gorky from here. I will not, maybe he's over there in the dark. I'm not sure I'm able to get closer because of the snow, but let's just walk around. Maybe we will see some other places. So there is a lot, to show around in the park depending on the time. Tomorrow, I think they will have some concerts, so you need to get a ticket, and that's the way it is. So there's also a city named after Gorky. No longer exists. The city was Nizhny Novgorod, and Gorky, he was also from Nizhny Novgorod. What are those photos? Not sure which one. Position the photos. Not sure which photos. So while we are walking, maybe the photos in the chat, I'll show you some other beautiful pictures that I prepared for this tour. So here's another triumphal arch in Moscow. This is the Vedinha. This is a place that became the old exhibition of agriculture, then the exhibition of Soviet republics. One of the most beautiful places in Moscow. So yeah, we can say hi to Maxim. I hope he doesn't mind. Well, one of his biggest works is Low Deaths. And I mentioned this book on one of my tours about criminal Moscow, because this basically talks about, ordinary Russian people. As with literature, it was always about romanticization until a certain moment. It was a lot about romanticization. It was about love and the life of rich people. One of the first writers who referred to ordinary people at the end of the 19th century, we had this movement of kind of like realism with art, then also with literature. So Maxim Gorky was highly appreciated by the government for showing low classes, and it went along with, the ideas. So James was talking about the photos you passed on the left. Oh, the photos, it was an exhibition. The exhibition was about the theater. Thank you very much. I thought maybe the photos in the chat. And the events, they're free. The events in this park, some of them are free, some of them are not. No, of course not. I mean, it just now, since there's still, private companies that organize the events, and, I can do my tours in here. So that won't be free. Dancing classes. No, all types of events. And more things are happening in summertime. So that's why normally I don't do tours in here in winter, with one exception for this holidays time. So at the end of the tour, I want to show you this beautiful market that we've seen in the beginning of the tour. But now we will get to, at the beginning, to ice statues. So the market is open till the 8th of January, and I'm not sure I will be able to repeat this tour again. So this will be something very exclusive, only for you. So in winter. Over there, we have the Ministry of Defense. Oh, here's a Santa Claus, or Ded Moroz, as it's in Russian, walking. Not sure what is he doing in here. Seems like he has his own party. Let me see if I missed any questions. Hi, Jessica. Jessica, thank you very much for your contribution straight away. Name of the book, please. Low Depths. You can just write Low Depths, like the bottom of the society. Dr. Zhivago is Boris Pasternak, grandfather Frost. Exactly. I don't know what's happening. Exactly, Liz. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what's happening. Seems like he's just a nice and kind person who wants to bring some joy. And you know, I like that animal. It's Cheburashka. It's sort of like, I used to say it's a Russian Santa Claus. I don't know what is he doing. Seriously, I don't know. But it seems like kids are happy. So I'll just show it from here. And on the other side, we have this beautiful Christmas market. Maybe he's kind of like part of this Christmas market activities. But let's go inside to see what is the animal on the back. So the animal on the back is the Russian cartoon character called Cheburashka. Cheburashka. I compare it to Mickey Mouse. Cheburashka was one of the most popular cartoons in the Soviet Union. And, you know, I often say it's something between a mouse and a monkey. It's its own creature, very unique and special. And Cheburashka is very kind. This is just something to understand, because Cheburashka, the movie is in cartoons about Cheburashka. And actually, this year we have a new movie about Cheburashka. So that just shows that, you know, even these days, it's still kind of like big. We remember about it. Cheburashka. B-U, and after R, yeah, C-H-K. Almost. But I believe, Jessica, if you're right, what you wrote in the chat, and then a Russian cartoon character, you'll find Cheburashka. So we're going to the beginning of the tour. As I mentioned, last year we had Ice and Snow Festival in this park. Unfortunately, I was able to do it only once due to the weather conditions. Like, I came here for the first tour and just everything was like melted. And every year the festival takes place in different parks. So this year I'm going to do this tour in another park, but I'm happy that they still have some statues in here. So this is something that I actually remember from last year, and last year they invited artists from Grandfather Frost, the young boy, but although he's nothing like Grandpa. This one also looks like Grandpa Frost, like Russian Santa Claus. Here you go, and look at the view. The view is also stunning. That is always beautiful. The lady looks like Snow Maiden, Russian Snegorichka. Is this made of ice? Yes, again, it's made of ice, and last year we had the festival, Ice and Snow Festival. This year I'm going to do also a tour about Ice and Snow Festival. Every year it's different. Every year a new theme. Yes, this lady in Russian, Snegorichka, in English, Snow Maiden. Who's the third guy? The third guy, he looks like a Russian medieval soldier. In Russian, bogatyr. Snow Maiden is this lady. So who is she? So normally in Russia, Ded Moroz and comes with this lady, and she is his granddaughter. Older, many tourists, many foreigners, like, you know, when I did tours for American tourists, in-person tourists, they're like, Oh, looks like his girlfriend. So officially his granddaughter, older. We know nothing about her parents. We know nothing about his children, but usually they come together as a pact. Head girlfriends made of ice. Oh, John. Here's another bogatyr, also kind of like a medieval soldier. And as I said, last year there were many reference. There were many reference to Russian folklore. This year it will be more about activities. What does she do? The same thing as Dietmar. She just kind of like smiles and just entertains, and then she helps because he's a grandpa, you know, and he's already tired, so he's not that active, and she's more, you know, of a charm. Smiles and waves. Yeah. That's about it. I mean, often, usually we have them together. And if we walk around the Christmas market, this one or another one, usually you will see them together. What are they? They're another bogatyrs. You know, this is a medieval bogatyr, medieval soldier. So here we have more medieval soldiers. As I said, there is a lot of reference to folklore. This kind of like bogatyrs were in Russian fairy tales, and even these days we have some cartoons about the cartoons and the army. What is a bogatyr? Bogatyr, again, bogatyr, medieval soldier. Medieval soldier. That's like one man. In Russian, it's bogatyr, medieval soldier. Bogatyri, yeah, in Russian would be bogatyri. And it's too small for an army, I guess. How many are there? But like, again, it is more about like fairy tales that would protect the country, the city. Can we see the woman again? Apologies, miss her. Okay, I'll just walk around, and maybe I will also show you some of the stalls at the market, so you will be able to see. Just snowflakes this year, and you see it's already melting. So again, even if I'll try, sorry, the gimbal is going crazy when I just try to show up and down. Yeah, me too. I also like snowflakes. So here we go. And there's another bogatyr. So it's basically, it's the theme. And it's written that it's closed due to weather conditions. So unfortunately, it may be the last day for us to show, for me to show, because again, in 2 days, it will be +6. Can you imagine? Like yesterday, it was -6 degrees Celsius. And then in a few days, it will be +6. So I don't know how they can survive. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you like the big festival that we have in another park. So I had a special request for the girl. Let's see the girl. I'm also do a portrait mode, and then we will walk around this area. Here we go. And headdress. I mentioned it on many of my tours that headdress is called kokoshnik, and it's a traditional Russian peasant headdress. Today you can buy it as a souvenir. So, hope it was enough. So, this one is kind of empty for a Christmas market because Gorky Park, I mean, it's in the city area, but you still have to walk for approximately 10-15 minutes to get here. And it's new. I mean, the market is new. Normally, we don't have markets in here. We always have markets close to Red Square. What else? I mean, it's kind of like the food. This one seems like really the place to eat. But this is also one of the ways to survive. By the way, oven also had a big meaning in Russian culture. So it's interesting that they have it in here. I like, tables and everything, but it's just kind of weird to sit in here after rainy weather. So some of you have seen other Christmas markets, maybe with some other countries or with me. Have you ever seen dumplings? and Christmas tourist dumplings, like ravioli, one of the biggest Russian dishes. We also call them czars of Russian food. So the price would be like $6, a little bit, yeah, like $6. I love it. I love it with meat, but it's just I would say a little bit too heavy for a Christmas market. Like normally you just have kind of like a dessert, but here you can find everything. Please, thank you very much for your contribution. What else? This is different. This is also very different design. What's interesting compared to other. Is my video, здравствуйте, is my video jumpy for everyone else? I was jumpy, I think, at some moment because of the rain. Please let me know if everything is fine for everyone else. Maybe it's because of the weather. So, guys, the tour has been already for over an hour, and as you can see, the weather conditions are not the best today. I'm happy that I was able to show you around. Maybe the gimbal is going a little bit crazy after some rain, so I'll just save it for future tours. Apologies for any technical issues. If you have any questions, I'm still here to answer them. And we'll be happy to see you on new tours. I'll do my best to publish some new tours, maybe some new specials. For you, let me just show you also one of the biggest Russians. Actually, my gimbal is not jumping, but again, it might be just a technical issue. Pickles, yeah, we pickle everything. We like pickles. Pickles are really, really big. Royal Palace or Royal History Tour. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your comments. And yeah, if you're interested in specific topics, you can always write it either on my page, under the post. So I would be happy to do it. John, Catherine, thank you very much for your contributions. And everyone else, I mean, as you know, it's a tip-supported tour. That's how I'm able to do tours for you. That's how I'm able to invest in gimbal and in other gadgets to organize tours for you. Gulag tour, I have Museum Park that is more than... and also I have Gulag like literature tour. I haven't done it in 6 months because the last time I had less than 20 people on my tour. Apparently it's not the biggest topic. So I do these tours from time to time. If you're interested in Gulag, you can subscribe on this tour, and the next time I publish it, you will get a notification. So if there are no other tours and no other suggestions, thank you very much for joining me today. Again, apologies for any weather conditions. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be happy to see you on some of my tours and my future tours. Happy holidays, all the best, Merry Christmas, and take care. Thank you very much.